the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The seminal event in human history, and it happened at the darkest moment in human history. An innocent man subjected to a mockery of a trial, bruised and beaten, crucified, as the sins of the world were cast upon him. And yet we have the audacity to call that day good. The only thing good about that Friday was that Sunday was soon to come. Resurrection. The resurrection was the game changer. The resurrection was the sign that Christ promised the religious leaders of his time. It was the sign of Jonah. Just as Jonah was subjected to 3 days and nights of imprisonment in the belly of a whale, Christ was subjected to 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. It was what he confided to those closest to him when he said, "Tear this temple down, and in 3 days I will raise it up." The empty tomb. Yes, the empty tomb is a dividing line. It splits recorded time in two, BC and AD. The life, death, and resurrection of the greatest man in history is acknowledged as the most important chain of events in mankind's narrative. A chain of events that you are forced to recognize as significant each time you record the date at the top of a check or next to your signature at the bottom of a contract. It was this chain of events from Good Friday to Easter Sunday that God set in motion that would break chains and set captives free. In one weekend, he made it possible for every man, woman, and child to be unfettered from the yokes of oppression, from the bondage of addiction, from the trap of humiliation, from our shame, and from whatever enslaves your heart today. He erases the painful chapters of the past. He addresses the difficult issues of our present. He gives us courage to face tomorrow because Jesus lives. We can finally know what it means to live free. Jesus took your sin issues and nailed it to the cross. He liberated you when he rose from the dead. This is the one who declared of himself, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free." He is the chain breaker. He is the liberator. This is Easter. From out of the tomb ignited a movement that continues to bring hope and life 2,000 years later. This is Easter. We're proclaiming to all nations that Jesus Christ is risen from the dead. This is Easter. It is the reason for the party and praise and the music and the gathering of the faithful. We celebrate because the resurrection brought something to the world that the world never had before. Freedom. Just as he who couldn't be bound by the chains of death, sin, or the grave, we too have been set free. And he whom the Son sets free is free indeed.